update again. This is another fatal problem that we need to solve together. How to take this story into account now, like changing shoes? Because this is probably waiting for us in the information fields. Or if it can be a fork, how to understand the difference between these two concepts? Well, guys, let's figure it out. Changing shoes is an attempt to endlessly adapt to the market in order to attract the community. This is kind of addition. And some of changes which we provided earlier can be called changing shoes. Of course, it can also be like a hard fork, of course, but it's up to you to decide later. Changing shoes are changes that you implement quickly without thinking on the way you quickly change shoes. If a pair doesn't fit, you try another and so on. And it's logical what is happening and happened to us. We got confused. Nobody understood what was happening, which changes were taking place. This is actually a change in shoes process indeed. And the fork is an update with a specific purpose. We will now outline these goals and problems for undefined, goals for undefined, and for example, network security, network improvement, tokenomics alignment. This is our aims. That is, the fork is aimed at something specific with understanding. That is, the fork occurs after the project analyzes its activities in order to improve. In other words, we worked with you for half a year and we took it on ourselves to review all of our work that had been, broke down the project into small details, and keep only interesting, important, and necessary elements of it, and at the same time remove unnecessary and non-working elements like things that are stored in pantries which should have been thrown away a long time ago. They really prevented our project to develop. That's what fork is in a few words. That's it. The fork can be short, not even like that. The fork can be directed to well, it can be voluminous in function or narrowly focused. Or it can be local. This is basically what fork is. This is definitely a question for the community. We understand that at the moment when the update happens, we will show you at the end of the second or third day, we will show you the steps of updates in a system. And when the full system will update it, people who sometimes check their wallets but don't work in the chats will surprise and ask, what happened? Have you changed your shoes? And we will have to make sure that we didn't change our shoes. It's a fork. Artery 2.0 is a fork because it has specific aims. Develop a secure tokenomics model. What means secure, we will explain to you later. And on this day, wait a minute guys, how long have we been on tune? An hour and a half. Oh great, we are in time. Develop a secure tokenomics model. In this fork, it's one of our main tasks in addition to those that we have to reinforce our products. That is, we must make such forks that for a long-term working, not for a week, not for two. It must work for a long period time. It must create such a foundation for us so that we can reinforce our products to make sure that our tokenomics can balance, could be alive, exist as an artificial intelligence, could adapt to each partner, including the community. This is very important to do. Otherwise, it won't work. The company will have to close. To create a more ecological marketing model. It's like summing up tokenomics, products, resources, ecological marketing model, and to lift iron curtains from the crypto world. That is, if we look at it carefully, then everything becomes pretty clear. And let's now look at examples of forks. I will not consider them in great details. I will not convince you or try to convince that it's not a fork or something like that. It's just that people who understand working process of the industry already know examples of large forks that are currently happening in the market. And you know Ethereum very well, hard fork for example, and we have defined some projects just as examples such as Axie Infinity. This is a gaming platform and I will not go too deep into this. You can read all this in more details in our Telegram channel. We just want to show that it's all right when some projects has one behavior model, but in order to improve, they change the model and continue to move on. Hobby token is an exchange token too. It also has its own history. That's understandable, I think. Let's don't stop on this for a long time. Later, if you want, we will send you these slides and you will read everything in our Telegram channel. These are examples of actual fork. The most main is the transition of Ethereum from POS to POS. This was heard from everywhere. And imagine how Ethereum felt. Imagine how long they have been planning changes, how to recognize the company work, and there is no a complete mess going inside the company, and they have to put things in order somehow. Well, guys, now you can pay attention that we are discovering the aim block. So that's our aims. And when developing the RTV 2.0 system, we set ourselves a fundamental task, I can say, guys. The composition of income. That is, we had to make an offer. Remember, as I have already said, it should be understandable, transparent, interesting, realizable, doable for the market. And that is the most important thing is that it should be understandable. So what is the offer to make it interesting to promote apart from all the things in tokenomics and so on? We started from the following indicators. The composition of income. Now we have to sit down and think if we are now creating some kind of product. For example, we are making boots with you, we need to sell them somehow. And we need our offer to be understandable to the market so that we can earn and move on. Therefore, in this case, we also have a question. What offer should we make? Because now everything is very blurry and incomprehensible, and we started from the following points. We need to make sure that we provide and create an opportunity. Well, okay, let's explain it differently. If we took the Russian market and the CIS market as well, what is our biggest problem? The problem is money. Either people don't earn enough or they want to earn money but don't understand how to do it. I'm talking about extra income now. If we will look into reality's eyes now, we will tell you about social mission later on a second or third day because it really deserves attention and it goes hand in hand with this thing that I'm talking about now. It's one thing when we are looking for large investors who came and became whales in the project, and another thing is when we create an offer with you that will be of interest to a large number of people as an additional income. If we take as a basis 20, 30, 50,000 rubles, an ordinary person who is now working at the regular job, for example, a sales manager or marketing manager, well, you must understand that the salary in the regions isn't higher than 50,000. For small towns and provinces, this is a good salary. If we take Moscow as an example, workers on average have 50-70,000. These are leading indicators. There are workers with salaries greater than 100,000, but these are already high positions such as top manager or real estate agents maybe. We can say that an audience that earns less than 100,000 always has a desire to have additional income from some sources. Based on this, we thought, how could we create such an offer that was understandable, quickly implemented, achievable for people, provided that they are not networkers and have never worked in such a structure. They don't understand anything in blockchain, etc. Why is it so important to us? Because people who earn not millions are more. And we need a lot of people to develop our ecosystem. You see, we need a lot of people who can develop with help of us. We will talk about this social mission later. And so that it would be so that a person approached me, offered an offer related to Artery 2.0. I would see 20,000 rubles or $200, for example, and if I understood what I could do and it would be real, I mean, it's not fantasy and what if, and to be sure is that. And the question is it interesting to me or not, as long as it's not difficult to do? And this offer is interesting for any person. For example, somebody earns 50, 100 and will be able to receive an additional 20. This is interesting. The only question is how to sell it, how to work with it, 30, 40. It is clear that these are the figures that we have calculated. They are additional income for the people who will work with us and they will develop in the future with us. This is our targeting audience. This is our offer that we will continue to develop. Leon, can you please continue instead of me? I will rest a little, drink some water. Later, if you want, we will send you the slides and you will look in Telegram channel everything. There are examples of actual forks. The most basic is the transition of
That is,
Ethereum
the
from
task is clear to us. We want to provide additional income, but how to provide it? The first point, as shown on our slide, is to ensure it is such a way that no one loses money. I mean, don't take the commission and give it to someone. Previously, this option worked and even worked well, and such systems have a right to exist. In Cosmos system, for example, validators take a commission from their validators. That's not into depth right now. I just want to say that we want to make our system attractive for investors. When there is no system like taken given, income comes not taken from another. And the second moment from my area, well, the mission didn't show us what can give everyone plus 30% per month from a stake. That is, we must provide this additional income without taking commission from anyone and not with a super production. We could work on such system for a month or two or even more. It would give income of 100% for staking, but this will end very quickly. And the second meaning, which you can read on the right, it should be interesting. What makes it interesting is influencers. What this means we will tell you a little later. This concept is not from the field of the network company. Influencer is a topic from the field of marketing, influence marketing, and the path of development was clear, which we have already indicated when we talked about the problem. When the statistics aren't published, when it is not clear where the company is going, firstly, because of this, it's difficult to build any forecast and actions in the company. Secondly, it is not clear what action in the company will bring you profit, benefit, efficiency. We want to provide tools and with them the opportunity to earn. Well, we have Lena. It can be said that she is a woman of a mission because thanks to her ideas, any creative thought that our team had during the development of our system was calculated and proved by her mathematically, and led to a crooked finish due to emission. Some ideas might sound interesting, but Lena went with the calculation, returned and rejected because it is unprofitable for the issue. She said it is not a viable option. We will arrive lame and sick and almost dead at the end. In this case, I will repeat once again, it is very important that income and money don't go away from anyone and give it to people so that it can be realized, so that in your teams this really going to happen. And most importantly, when would all these processes began to occur in Artery 2.0, when new partners begin to come and old ones going to be reanimated, so that when this system starts breathing, it comes to life, it must become an equilibrium in terms of final emission. This is very important. We will show you more on slides later because right now you can either trust us or not. Then we will show you everything in detail. We will have a separate show about modeling for those it will live up to this naturally. Well, so let's move on. What if we don't have MLM? Let's now ask the question, what will happen if we don't have MLM in the usual format? If we have any changes of existence, we are now gradually moving to the block. Well, look, we have already talked about the problems, we have analyzed them extensively. Now we are moving on and we are asking ourselves the question, can we or we can't? And there is actually something to think about. Let's take a short break to assimilation the information. In fact, this question keeps staying actual. What if we don't have MLM? I understand that we now have a lot of networkers connected to the mastermind, and for them this is a probably terrible question. Do we have any chance? Or are we done? Well, we are starting new block. See, explain, understand. The most interesting. Well, tell us finally. We can't wait to know the answer. Okay, let's go. Ecosystem Archery 2.0, we divided our mastermind on a few days because there are a lot of changes, technical, deep changes. Because of this, we will move from simple to complex. Lena, Artyom, work with me in a tandem now, please. Feel free to add and explain anything you want. Me is me, but a team is a team. Well, okay. Lena, please start and then I will continue. What is Artery 2.0 for us? First of all, this is a healthy emission. In fact, a large issue is not perceived very well, even in professional market. When you come to the crypto world and claim a 30% of return per month, many are surprised and ask about the return per year, but there's a terrible numbers. It is better not to talk about them at all because people who work in serious large fundamental projects perceive such profitability as a scam. In other words, a large emission isn't only dangerous but also unprofessional. Thus, emission, as everyone understands, is a potential for growth. And one more very important moment, we want to create a system where professional income is proportional to the effort invested. There are people who came to us for passive income and their income are appropriate, and there are people who do a lot for the project. They can become validators, they distribute resources, they lead chats, they keep interested people turned, and we want everything to be fair in this system. If you're just a holder, you have some conditions. If you're influencer, promoter, etc., then you have a different result. This is fair, but everything must be safe. The second point is the increase in resources. The importance of this point we have already explained because in fact this is the essence of our company and ecological marketing. This is also what we basically explained. These two main points are connected in the Artery 2.0. That is an equilibrium system who moves forward with us, helps and develops the project. Those are in more comfortable conditions in terms of profitability. Who is just a holder others have other conditions. All this need to be balanced and at the same time introduce new marketing that will help us increase resources. You remember we used to constantly talk about when we will launch a memory collection promo, for example, a separate promo for traffic collection, etc. These questions constantly popped up on the horizon, but they all stayed there because it needs to be done, but when and how it wasn't clear. We now need to clarify this with you. Therefore, the Artery 2.0 system is the base.